Hi everybody, Matt here from Matt Likes Comics. I thought I'd just try something different tonight and have a little intro video going in because I wanted to see if it would work or not. So there you go. Apparently it worked. Okay, so tonight I'm excited to say that as of the original airing of this episode, we are only 10 subscriptions away from our giveaway. Everything's ready to go. I'm going to do quickly show again what we're going to give away in 10 more subscriptions. Alan sent us this wonderful t-shirt. He donated this. I'm very thankful for it. And it fits all. We've got a copy of Zombie Tramp 58. And we have a copy of Adventure Comics 306 with the flying car, first appearance of the Substitute Heroes. We've got Mighty Avengers 248, Defenders 109, Defenders 121, Superman Batman 13, which is Fight Against Darkseid. We've got Superman's Girlfriend Lois Lane 134. We have a copy of Superman 409. We've got The Thing 19. And Zenescope presents Horror and Fantasy number 1. And of course, and this one my wife wants for some strange reason, the signed photo of Alan. So that's what's going to happen with just 10 more subscribers. So before we get any further, I'm going to say hi to the chat. Good evening, Lyle. Good evening, Andreas. Glad you could make it. What I plan to do tonight is I'm going to answer questions that have been popping up in my comments on my videos. I've got 5 or 6 here that I'm going to answer tonight. I don't know exactly always which videos they all come from, but I'm going to hope that the people who ask them will watch at some point and be able to recognize the question they asked from the video they did. And the first question I'm going to answer tonight was from Katz, and he asked me what online stores that I like to use in Canada. Well, I answered him in the chat, in the comments then with Cosmic Comics out of Saskatoon and Doug Sulip out of Steinbach, Manitoba. I've used both of them on a few occasions, and I've had nothing but good service from them. However, well, let's say hi to the comic collector. Glad you could join us tonight. However, there are several other online stores in Canada that deliver to Canada, deal in Canadian dollars, and I made a small list here. I've actually been to some of these stores as well, but so they didn't strike me as online per se because I actually went in and purchased in person. We got Big B's out, and that's Big B, like as in the letter B, out of Hamilton and Niagara Falls. There's one in each city, as well as a Big B Comics, again, B with the letter, out of Barrie, Ontario. They used to be all affiliated, but the two in Hamilton and Niagara Falls are separate from the one in Barrie now. Therefore, the adding of the comics. Both stores have people who are overstreet advisors running them. So, therefore, I would recommend, especially the one in Barrie, because I've been there a couple of times now. I'm originally from Barrie, so I've visited there when I've gone to see relatives, and so I would recommend doing business there. Is that not showing? Sorry, Kim Union, I'm trying to show your comment here, and it's not seeming to be going up. Kim Union said that he personally has had some great experiences doing business with Canadian shops. So the other stores I'd like to mention is we've got one in British Columbia named Time Screen Comics. I didn't quite see where in British Columbia. All I caught was they were Lower Mainland. Maybe Lyle, he's from that neck of the woods. Maybe he knows where Time Stream Comics is. But again, another one that's in Canadian dollars and doing in Canadian. And I've got two other places here, both in Ontario. One is called Captain. So let's see if this works now. Yes, there we go. All right. Lower Mannion, Summon Victoria. Yes, okay. Lyle did catch that. So, as I said, Captain Car Comics out of Brantford, Ontario. And the last one I have listed here is Hill City Comics out of Thunder Bay. Apparently, they're the best comic book shop west of. They claim to be the best comic shop west of Sudbury. So, yeah, well, I'm back now, Lyle. Can you all see me now? Hi, Fiddle Chips. Can everybody see me now? I just want to make sure. Can somebody say yes, Matt? You're there. I don't know what happened to my internet. Something the kids must have done something upstairs. Anyway, so that's the answer to question 1 with regards to online stores available in Canada. The next question I had. Okay, thank you, Kay Munin. Okay, we have thank you, Lyle. If there's one thing I want to do here is I want to spread as much knowledge across the spectrum of comics to everybody out there. The more places we have to find books and stuff, the better off everybody is in the end. Our next question was from Steve Driscoll, and he wanted to know why there were only 13 issues of Volume 2 Captain America, Iron Man, Avengers, and Fantastic Four. Steve, that's pretty. I had to do a slight little bit of research on that. I knew the basic part of the answer, but what I wanted to do was get a little background. Basically, what happened was Marvel went bankrupt and they went up for sale in 1996. So, in order to make themselves more attractive, they ended all of their series and started over with a reboot. In the case of the Captain America, Iron Man, Avengers, and Fantastic Four books, they did a series where they called it Heroes Reborn. What happened was those particular heroes suddenly disappeared and ended up in an alternate universe. And it was the same characters, but the characters didn't know that they'd moved and they'd forgotten their lives as it was in the first universe. Now, I personally only have books from the Fantastic Four during this little era. So I can use them as an example. Basically, what had happened in the Fantastic Four was they rebooted the story. Reed was trying to go to Mars. That was the same. Sue Storm and Johnny Storm were the money people. So they were going on the on there to make sure that everything went well with their money and their investment was protected. And in the case of Ben Grimm, they updated him that in this particular one, he had fought in the Gulf War, not World War II. and he was still the pilot. He was the pilot. He was still best friends with Reed, and therefore was the reason why he was the person picked. So basically, what happened was they disappeared. They went into the other dimension, and what happened was the main world, like the 616 universe, had also forgotten that these people had existed. It was like literally nothing had happened. So Spider-Man and X-Men continued in the main universe, but nobody knew they were around. So basically for a year, this series went on. They had some adventures and all that. And then poof, they ended up killing the title and rebooting for a volume 3 on everything. Everything got killed after the Heroes Reborn after 13 issues, and they went to volume 3s. And because at this point Marvel had sold, it was bought by Ike Perlmutter, so they wanted to stabilize things again. So they brought them back through means of whatever, like they brought them back through. I don't have the last issue, so I'm not exactly sure how they came back, but they came back to the main universe, and everything was like before. Anyways, I'm going to quickly show the 3 issues from the Fantastic Four I got. This is the number 1 of Volume 2. And this is Fantastic Four number 3 in that same volume. As you can see, Captain America made a cross. And Fantastic Four number 8. Those are the 3 books I have from the run. Steve, if you want more details about what on Heroes Reborn, there is actually a really good article about it at Wikipedia that has a lot of the details that go upon more of what I was saying. But basically, as I said, they disappeared for a little while. They went into another universe. They had a little adventures, and a year later, they went back. And that's why the series was only 13 issues. Okay. Hazu, I can show you some books I picked up at the comic store today. That doesn't get more modern than that. This is a new series of Jenny Sparks. This is issue number 1. I picked that up today. This is the recent issue of G.I. Joe. This is number 309. That came out today as well. Here's issue 3 of Destro, which is a current miniseries building the character. And this is this month's Conan the Barbarian from Titan. This is number 14. And we've got Batman Superman World's Finest number 30. Nightwing 117. Wonder Woman 12. And Titans 14. And the last book that I picked up today was the current issue of Superman number 17. So I hope Hazu, that I hope that shows you the modern books. I have other ones that I actually did in the video that's coming soon that are modern books that I picked up recently as well that are not current month. So they are coming. They will be coming. And I did not know there was a new Space Ghost. I wonder if Steven knows that. He's a big Space Ghost fan. And K. Munin says he has that same issue 1 on his watch list along with the variant. Jenny Sparks, she's with the Authority. This isn't her first appearance. She think of her as a technological John Constantine. The same type of character, the same type of, only instead of magic, she uses technology. And a bit of a badass, more like a Jane Bond, for example. And I would agree with you there on the Andreas about the Conan cover. What made me pick those comic books, Hazu, is that I'm subscribed to all of those titles, and I've been picking up, in most cases, except for the Jenny Sparks, I've been picking up those titles for years. Fiddlesticks. I'm not sure Mark Waid is still doing it. Yeah, yes, he is. His name is on the book, so I would guess so. Great Legend. That's awesome. Fantastic 453. I got to read that myself after doing 52 for the show with Biggie. I am still in a position to go, what the heck went on with this? Because 52 left us on a bit of a cliffhanger. So, thank you very much, Great Legend. It's nice to know. Okay. The next question I got are more of opinion questions. And there's a bunch of them here, and they came from the Gray Man. He asked me questions such as, by the way, Steve, who I was talking about, who asked the last question, has a channel as well. It's Steve Driscoll on YouTube. He's a very big Captain America fan. He has recently completed his run of Volume 1 of Captain America. Not the, I should say Volume 2, the Silver Age run, not Silver Bronze Age run, not the Golden Age. And he does a lot of videos on books that he has. And he did one video as well with a bunch of shout outs to a lot of the channels, including mine, which I appreciated. So if you guys have a chance, give Steve's channel a look. He's a retired school teacher. He's got some interesting books, and I've enjoyed watching his stuff. Now, the Gray Man also has his own channel. He's a friend of Suddenly Comics, Marks, and he also has a channel, and he is actually quite entertaining. He likes to do little shorts with the old ads from the 1960s Silver DC books that you were always like, if you like Superman in this, then you'll like Superman in this kind of thing. And I think they're great. Okay. Kay Munin, my favorite G.I. Joe character is the Baroness. And Mark Waid, if you like him or hate him, Fiddle Chips, at the very least, he is doing a good job writing this particular book because it does have a bit of a Silver Age feel to it. With the world's finest there. I mean, we had a not too long ago we had a storyline that featured Batmite and Mixelplix with a fifth dimension Justice League that was pretty good. It went 4 or 5 issues, and it was actually quite entertaining. Hi, Rick. And yes, Kay Munin, you should have known that. But part of why I like the Baroness is because we all like, some of us like the good girls. I like the bad girls. I like a Cersei Lannister over for the most part. You make a good point, Fiddles Chips, but I try to separate the product from the producer as much as possible, because I like to give the benefit of the doubt and think maybe the producer's having a bad day. But I completely understand everybody's opinion is valid when it comes to whatever. I really like a lot of people, for example, will say that what's his name? Oh my God, I'm blanking at the moment. John. Oh my God. Jim Shooter. A lot of people say that he's crazy, and a lot of people say that he's mean and nuts. but you can't deny he's one hell of a writer, and he's done really good, and he's done some great work. So I mean, I will read Jim Shooter stuff. I will write. Brian Michael Bendis is another one that people go up and down about, but he's done some good stuff. He's done some not so good stuff. I still read the good stuff because I prefer down in the date. Like I said, I like the comics. I'm not necessarily a fan of the creator. Okay. Hazu, I have not picked up many keys lately at all for upcoming movies, unless I have picked up a bunch of Superman books. So if you want to go with the fact Superman's getting a movie to call it that, then I could say yes. And that's true, Fiddle Chips. Jim has never attacked fans, but Jim has been known to show up and then walk out in the middle of a panel or a weekend. He did that at Ottawa Comic Con a few years ago. He was literally talking to somebody, went, "Oh shit," and then just walked off and went to the airport, apparently. Um, Rick, that is going to actually get answered very shortly because Gray Man has asked a question very similar to that. So I will answer that as part of what I've got coming up. Gray Man's questions. The first one he asked me was, if I could have superpowers, which ones would I have and to become a hero? He says hero, not villain. So the answer is actually quite simple. I want the Force. And the reason I'd want the Force is because, for lack of a better phrase, with the Force, you can do so much. I feel that I don't want to say it's unlimited powers by having one power, but compared to, say, having telekinesis, just telekinesis, you've got telekinesis, you have potential super speed, you have potential fast agility, potential premonition powers, like just force lightning, all the stuff that we've seen in the movies that you get from the Force. So the answer is, if I could want one superpower, I'd want the Force. The next one that he asked was, who was my favorite writer, artist, and creative team? Now, he's not specific to era, but I'm going to specify era. For the Golden Age, my favorite writer is Gardner Fox. My favorite artist so far is Matt Baker, but I'm discovering more all the time, or Carl Barks, depending on the day. I tend to have more Carl Barks work than Baker, but I like Baker a little more than Barks. And creative team from the Golden Age, Siegel and Schuster. I mean, come on. They created the man. For the Silver Age, my favorite writer would be probably Mort, what's his name? Not Mort Weisinger. He's the editor. Sorry. Probably one of the guys. Again, Jim Shooter is one. He wrote a lot of the Legion stories, as well as some Superman stories in the '60s. Gardner Fox wrote a lot. I would have to say that I liked him a lot as well, because Gardner Fox wrote a majority of the Justice League, almost all of the Hawkman, a good chunk of the Aquaman, and a good chunk of the Atom and some Green Lantern, not all, but some. So Gardner Fox and Gardner Fox did a lot of the writing for Brave and the Bold, for example. He wrote the story of Starman and Black Canary. And yeah, Fiddle Chips, I agree with you. Jim Shooter had an amazing career. Started at 13 and moved up. Hazu, he does it so often that nobody knows why. In Ottawa, my understanding was that someone said something and it just rubbed him the wrong way and he left. But I've heard that he's just decided he's too tired. He wants to go home. Like, there's been so many stories over the years about what he is. Oh, that's true. Stan the Man in the Silver Age, he was good, Rick, but the thing is, they're asking my favorite, and Stan is not my favorite writer from from anywhere, because I haven't got a lot of Marvel compared to a lot of DC. And Hazu, you may be right about that. A lot of older people have that and undiagnosed and stuff like that. But as I said, Rick, there's no question Marvel had a lot of talent. And I haven't got to the creative team yet. And the creative team is actually going to be Lee and Kirby, because they work together. But my favorite personal artist from the Silver Age is Curt Swan. Hands down. I will not be at Fan Expo in Toronto, Hazu, but I will be at Ottawa Comic Con the week after. Alan's going to be there too. Alan is actually, if anybody hears from Ottawa, Alan is actually doing a presentation at Ottawa Comic Con on the Seduction of the Innocent on the Sunday afternoon. So if you're going to be at the Ottawa Comic Con, come give that a check out. So yes, for the Silver Age, I would say that as a team, Lee and Kirby, top notch, whatever. Now for the Bronze Age, which I'm being asked specifically here by Rick, the Bronze Age comes down to where you decide it ends. In my personal feeling, the Bronze Age goes to Crisis on Infinite Earths and Secret Wars on the Marvel side. For some people, it's only the decade of the 70s. But going by my definition, these are the answers I'm going to give. The best writer from the 1970s, Denny O'Neil. Okay? The Batman stories, the Green Arrow stories, the Superman stories, he did them all. He revamped them all. My favorite artist, Neil Adams from the 70s. And creative team would be Marv Wolfman and George Perez, followed by, very closely, by John Romita Sr. and Stan Lee. They're very, very close. But I prefer, I give Perez and Wolfman the slight edge, because they did Crisis and they did the New Teen Titans, which are two of my favorite all-time series. Hazu, they're similar in the sense that they're both comic conventions, but Toronto gets bigger stars. They're different companies. The one that's in Ottawa is the same company that runs the one in Montreal, where Fan Expo in Toronto is run by the people that do Fan Expos across North America. And Toronto is able to get guys like Mark Hamill and all that stuff, where the biggest guy we've got coming to Ottawa right now is Patrick, the guy who played the Terminator there. John Pat. Oh my God, I want to say John Pat. You know the guy who played Terminator 2, the metal guy. He's the biggest guy coming. And as for Secret Wars, Hazu, I have never read it fully, but I've read about half. And what I've read, I like. I've never had the opportunity to read a full trade paperback, so I've only read the issues that I've gotten my hands on, which is about 6 or 7 of them. I've never actually read 8, but I have read the last 3, and I like the way the Secret Wars ended. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, K. Munin. If there's one thing that every city, I think, needs, it's a good comic convention. The next question that the Gray Man had asked me was, what character... Oh my God, I can't read my own writing. Oh, what character deserves his or her own book? Well, here's the thing. Most characters have already had a book at some point. There's very few characters from before we'll say 1995, 96, that haven't had their own book. Some, like Longshot, had their own miniseries right off the bat. or and then some like Black Orchid, they only had like some series is like small mini series or whatever. A character that I think needs a series right now that there isn't one for is Deadman. Deadman, I think that Deadman and the Spectre, if they did a series where there were two, or like half like an anthology type series about spirit books, and half the book was Deadman and half the book was Spectre, that one I think would be great. I think that would be a great um, book. So, but right now, it's hard to say which character. I'd like to see Booster Gold, or Blue Beetle as the Ted Cord version. Speaking of, blah, ha, 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 I saw the question there, Rick. Um, each of them has their strengths. The Satellite JLA I like because most of my favorite older characters are in there. But the Bwahaha, I think that if I was going to sit and read 40 books, I'd rather read the international Keith Giffen. Because if you'll note, I did a video on Keith Giffen. I did not do a video on Dick Dillon or Gardner Fox, who wrote a lot of the stuff for Justice League. So I think deep down, I probably like the Justice League International better. Red Tornado's another. I see somebody's put comment up. Red Tornado was a pretty interesting character. My issue with Red Tornado was they always drew. He was always, and I realize it's part of the character, but because he was an android, he was never quite sure of himself. And I don't understand why they would program that quirk of personality into him, because most androids you see in books have like the confidence of a like of a whatever. They don't think, they don't have feelings, so therefore they just do, right? But I do admit that little quirk of Red Tornado does give it a character. And Firestorm, Lyle, that's another good one. Firestorm, he's one that could use it to actually have a book again. He would be good. But who I'd like to see get a book on the Marvel side is Cyclops and Jean. They need to have their own book of their own life. I would also like to see the Beast on the X-Men side get his own book again. He's an interesting enough character that he could easily sustain a series for a little bit. The next thing that the Gray Man asked was, if I could take over a character's writing stories to tell, which one would it be? That one I've given a lot of thought. And I would have to say, I wouldn't mind writing Deadman or the Spectre, because they're both in a world that I'm really interested in terms of exploring research outside of my outside of comic books. I like reading about mythology and religion. I don't mean religion in the sense that I'm religious, that I go to church. I'm talking about from the beliefs and the stories, because whether we would agree with it or not, comic books are just another mythology. And I'm interested in them for what they are, because you have this mythology around Superman. They built this whole universe around him. They built this whole universe around Batman, Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Avengers. Yeah, I mean, Thor they took from Norse mythology, but if you go read the stories of Norse mythology behind it, they're even cooler. Like, so for me, because that world is so little defined and could be anything, I would probably like to write a Deadman or a Spectre. And the last one he asked was favorite costume or suit for a superhero. I kind of like primary colors and nice big color blocks. A character like a Crazy Quilt, no. And a character like a Calendar Man, too much detail. I like it simple, and I like a symbol just so that you can recognize it. It's one of the reasons I like the Superman ones so much. I prefer it on Supergirl, but I like the primary colors and the symbol of Superman, nice and simple. But I also like the original X-Men uniforms. I'm talking about the 1960s, the two-color approach. You knew they were an X-Men. You may not know what their name was. You may not know which one it was, except Marvel Girl. That one was kind of obvious. Probably Xavier too, Iceman. But they all wore the outfit, and the outfit was pretty cool looking. The majority of the Legionnaires had that sort of similar look too. They just had like a simple, basic look, like a Phantom Girl, all white with the big black P. The Saturn Girls was particularly nice. Brainiac 5 with the purple. Yes, I would have to say Neil Adams did the best Batman. Although I'm a huge fan of Jim Aparo as an artist, and I will read Jim Aparo, like I can read Jim Aparo. Jim Aparo and Nick Cardy were the best Aquaman artists. See, I go Jim Aparo, and unfortunately for a lot of these characters, the only one that I could say that it's Jim Aparo is the Phantom Stranger. So we've got opinions like that leave things going like that. So, are there any other questions in the chat? Anybody want to ask something while we're here? I bring that up because that is the last of the questions I had from the comments, and I want everybody out there to understand that in any one of my videos at any time you can ask any question. I'm not doing this Alan style where I have here's my weekly thing. I only come on here when there's enough to fill out, a good half an hour or so for a live show, because I like to mix things up a little bit. I don't want to get too stagnant or too predictable, as they say. But if you've got any more questions, that'd be great. Let's see. How do I like having my own live stream chat still now? Lyle, it's a little nerve-wracking, only because I'm not very comfortable with computers. This part of it, the talking and stuff, isn't as hard as I thought it would be. I'm getting used to it, but the whole computer this, computer that, got to use the program, got to use this thing. That's what I find the most unnerving about it. I'm very old school. So the next time I'm going to do a live stream again in 2 weeks. That one I plan on having guests. I'm hoping to have guests, I should say. And I haven't picked a topic yet. No, I've never dabbled in manga communion. It just doesn't appeal to me in the same way that regular comics do. What are some of my most expensive books? Probably. I don't have the type of collection like Stephen and Alan. My most expensive book is probably DC Comics Presents 47, first appearance of He-Man. But I do have a lot of books in the $50 to $100 range, as opposed to having lots of books in the 100+ range. I've got a couple of Golden Age books that are worth over $100, but I don't have a lot per se. As I said, in those ranges, I have the first appearance of Power Girl. I have the first appearance of the Huntress, both of them. I have the first for the I paid $100 for the book that Action Comics 251, which was the one just before Supergirl's first appearance, that has the ad in it saying next issue is Supergirl. Fiddles chips. People have been teasing me about that shelf the whole time I've done this. The problem is there's stuff up there that I need on a regular basis, and I haven't found anywhere else to put it yet. And I'm just as OCD about it as you. That is awesome. World's Finest 64. I bought one not too long ago in that range. It was 1954. I don't remember the number exactly, but I bought it at a show that Alan and I went to. Kay Munin, Huntress, is so interesting. It isn't just that she was Helena Wayne to start. The Helena Bertinelli version is actually even more interesting than the Helena Wayne, because Helena Wayne just feels like, oh, she's another Robin. But when they make her Helena Bertinelli, yeah, the mid to late 90s, that's her best period. She appears a lot in Nightwing books and Birds of Prey in that time period. I've been collecting for a while, Fiddle Chips, and I still cry about the prices. Hazu, the only other thing I really collect is I have a small coin collection that I've been putting together for my kids. Whenever I find something interesting, I put it aside. I've got a good run of the old Canadian pennies, which are no longer available, and a whole bunch of the old silver coins with the old monarchs on them. I have them aside for the kids for when they turn 18. Starfire is another one that's interesting. I don't like what they've done with her in the last when the new 52 hit, but they've made her much better again recently. Ida Cali. That would make sense. It was a Batman book that she became Helena Bertinelli in it, but she was in there was a good 25 to 30 issue run where Helena was a big part of Bloodhaven during that first Nightwing series. Yes, Hazu, but are you Canadian or American? Because the Americans still have pennies. We banned them in Canada. My system for organizing is actually quite simple. As you can see on the boxes, they have numbers. Okay, this one is 8.5. This is 7. Basically, I just go by the Overstreet. I do everything alphabetical. Doesn't matter what company. I'm where they are in the Overstreet is where I put them in my order. And so that's basically it. I have a box on the side for future filing, and even in that box, I put them in alphabetical order so that when I go in, for example, if I'm in box 2, I'll look in the filing box. Are there any books from that box that should go in that box at the time? That's my system for organizing it. I make the numbers nice and big. On my Excel spreadsheet where I keep track of what books I have, I also put the approximate box number for what they are. For example, Action Comics starts in box 1. Superman starts around box 41, that kind of thing. And so it makes it easier to find quickly to think, okay, I need a Superman from this. Okay, it says box 41 here. Okay, yep, there it is. That's how I do my organizing. The only toy collecting I dabble in, Fiddle Chips, I have Pops because my kids give them to me for Christmas and my birthday. I have 4 action figures because I like the particular characters. I like the Baroness. I've got this thing and Invisible Woman. I have this strawberry shortcake because she represents my best friend who passed away. She was a big strawberry shortcake fan, so she passed away a year ago. So I keep it in her memory. But other than that, I don't really have toys. My kids do. My kids enjoy my videos. My wife comments about it's always about the videos now, but she really. On the other hand, my wife really likes that picture of Alan that I'm giving away. Okay, Lyle's got a comment for Fiddle about toys here. Fiddle Chips likes tin toys. That's another good way to do it there, K Munin. But the reason I do it alphabetically is because you end up with a lot of books that are like a character that only shows up that one time, for example. Or you get a book character, a character like Stargirl that has like 7 books, and you don't remember where you put it, or you have to think about it too much, and that's why I just do it by the book. Yes, Hazu, that's true. There, I mean, the pops they've gotten me. I've gotten Supergirl, Superman, Black Canary, Wonder Woman, Yoda, Princess Leia. Princess Leia happens to be my son's favorite Star Wars character. Batgirl, Stormtrooper. I have Grogu. That's the only one I bought. Well, Hazu, you can decide for yourself. Here's the picture. Oh, okay, that's funny, Lyle. Yes, Alan sent a headshot he did a few years ago. He decided he would go with a picture he liked as opposed to a current picture. All right, everybody. If there are no more questions, as I said, going in tonight, we have only 10 more subscribers to go in order to do the giveaway. Once I reach it, I've already recorded a video on how we're going to run the contest. So when we get there, I'm going to upload the video, and then a week later, we're going to do a week after that, we'll do a live stream. We're going to do a live stream with regards to the show. Alan and Steppo have agreed to come on so that Alan, because he's helping give away some prizes, but Steppo just wants to see who gets the picture of Alan. So anyway, thank you all for coming tonight. If you haven't, please like, subscribe, like this video. Then the replay might be able to get out there a little more. Yes, I realize Fiddle Chips. I think you've told me this before with regards to cleavage. I just don't have it. Anyway, everybody, my name is Matt, and I like comics. And I hope you do too. Thank you very, very much for joining me tonight. Have a great time.